Back in the booth, back on the airwaves, coming at you live from the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. John Reed, Cody McClure, Bad News Bubba, intern Jackson. It is Tuesday, June 24th. It is officially the dead period. It's officially that time of year where there's no sports going on. Cody McClure is back from New York City. How you feeling, Sinatra?
Hello. Good morning, John. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's good to be here. Good to be here. It was good to be there. Now it's good to be here. It's good to be anywhere. What a weekend. What a time. Little extended weekend, you know. I needed every minute of it, though. I needed the travel. I told you I might need that extra day, and I did. I needed every bit of it because yesterday I left out of Philly, and, you know, I kind of travel slow. I like to see a few sights, so I left my friend's house, and then I went over to, just drove around Philly a little bit, drove by the Rocky Steps. Like, that's where they shot it, you know, and saw a couple of sights, and I was actually going to stop off at the beach because I don't know if it was like this down here, but it was like 102 degrees yesterday up north. And then I got to looking, and I was like, no, if I stop at the beach, it's going to be midnight by the time I get in. And then it was midnight anyway because I hit traffic in Bristol, of all places.
A wreck?
Got through Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., no problems, all across Virginia. And then I'm in Bristol, and, I don't know what happened, like just south of Bristol. And then I thought I was home free, and I get to 407 up here, and that took like 20 minutes, which is the worst feeling when you've been driving all damn day and you hit traffic at the end, you know. So we're good to go, though. We're ready to roll today. New York was, beautiful, majestic. Ended up staying at a luxury Midtown Manhattan hotel, which I didn't plan on.
What did it run you?
Not that much.
Nice.
I lucked into it. My buddy who was there was by himself, and he was booking a room, and we were together because we met up at the hotel when we got there. And I had just booked an Airbnb in Jersey with some, Ecuadorian family or something, and he's like, no, see if you can back out of that, and you can room with me. I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad you offered. That's a much better deal. I'd much rather stay here.
Did he charge you?
Yeah. I mean, I paid him.
Oh,
but I paid him like $250, which he's like, yeah, that's good, man. He's like, yeah, just throw me a couple $100, and I don't know if that. I don't think that covered it. Because it was like right next door to the Waldorf Astoria. It wasn't the Waldorf Astoria, but it was called the Intercontinental Barclay. Pretty nice place. Like if you look at their website, they advertise luxury. So it worked out for me. The wedding was beautiful. I fell in love after. That's a whole other story, but. I'm now in love with a girl from D.C., so, things are going great.
You fell in love? Magic was in the air. A wedding was in the air. I told you, those weddings, you just got to not blow it, and you'll find somebody fall in your lap to dance with.
Oh, there was a lot of dancing. Me and one of my single buddies, I won't tell you who, you know him pretty well, we're kind of in, I wouldn't call it competition, but we kind of, it was sort of a small wedding. There were 70 or 80 people there, whatever. I don't know if that's small or medium-sized or whatever, but the same girls who were single were kind of, lurking around the dance floor all night. And, Bubba, you okay over there? Anyway, this girl in the red dress, she.
You think this was the equivalent of you going, whenever Bubba was telling his softball story? Do you think?
Oh, maybe
think
he's
that
trying to
was
get
his
back at me.
equivalent to
I'm
be
trying
like-
to tell a story about falling in love in New York City, though.
He's
which
like,
I
oh,
feel
we've
like
heard this one before. First it was the girl on the airplane. Now it's this.
I did think about that, but this one feels different. This one feels right, and she's much, much more attractive too. But anyway, so there's this girl in the red dress, and it was getting to be that time of the night. Everybody was drinking, and we're going to keep the party going after the reception. And the girl in the red dress, apparently they'd had a thing all day. I don't know. And then she assaulted me on the dance floor with her tongue. And I was like, well, this is interesting, And so then I was kind of into her. And then there was this other girl in the gold dress, but she was really hammered. So we ended up just kind of taking care of her. But anyway, long story short.
Taking care of her, that's good. That's nice.
Long story short, there was a third girl with the group who decided to go to the bars after, and that's who I ended up talking to.
Now, you say this girl assaulted you with her tongue. Do you mean like by kissing you? Or
Oh,
licking
yeah.
You? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was real. Looking back on it, I don't think, she was the one anyway. So I just let her. I was like, you do your thing. I ended up with the most attractive, in my opinion, girl. And we just hit it off at the bar, and we hung out all night, watched the sunrise over the Brooklyn Bridge. It's very romantic. We were
just the two of you?
Yeah. Everybody else left. We ended up going to a rooftop. Now you're gonna say this is chuggy or whatever, but picture this, right? I'm with a beautiful girl.
Uh-huh.
We're on a rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
We're drinking fancy cocktails.
Sure.
Midtown Manhattan. The Empire State Building is in the background, all lit up, and they start playing Empire State of Mind, Alicia Keys.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the song.
Yeah.
And then
It was
what?
like a scene out of a movie.
And then what?
Well, just that particular moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you guys make love?
Well, I mean, I don't want to go into detail. I mean, I took her back to her place in Brooklyn. Yeah, we went to a diner after that. Rode one of those rickshaw things.
Oh no!
I know. The guy was there. Like I was just gonna get a yellow cab, but the guy was there, and we were going like 2 blocks away. So we got on the thing. He tried to charge me. Get this. It took about 10 minutes. He tried to charge me $8.99 per minute. When we got there, I handed him a 20 because he didn't say anything about price, so I handed him a 20. I was like, "Thanks, man." He's like, "Oh no, you the sign. You see the sign? It said $8.99 per minute." I'm like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
Oh,
So
no.
I was like, "Here's another 20." I gave him 40. I was like, "Have a good night." He's like, "Okay, have a good night, sir." So he knew he was running a scam. He took the 40. He was happy.
Probably didn't want to fight you over the other $40 or whatever it would be. Didn't want to get the cops involved,
Right.
anything like that. So you know what?
Ice.
40 feels
Yeah.
feels all right.
Yeah. So we went, had a nice, stopped at a diner.
Now, did you just pay for all this girl's stuff? She didn't offer to pay the rickshaw?
No, she actually paid for all the transportation. I paid for the drinks and the diner. We ate at a diner, but
So did she pay for the rickshaw, or did you pay for the rickshaw?
well, I paid for that one because I was operating in cash. But
Yeah.
my
Can't say she paid
phone
for
had
all the
died.
transportation.
Well, no, she paid for like a cab and the subway because my phone had
Subway,
died.
isn't that like $2?
Yeah, it's not much.
Oh,
but-
okay.
Yeah, but she also got a yellow cab, and she got a lift that
Okay.
took us to the wrong place. It was a whole
It was
thing.
the whole
So-
thing.
But my phone had died, and like I was just dead from midnight to 7 a.m. basically. But it was a long night. The point is, we're in love, and in unrelated news, I had an issue with crabs yesterday. It was in Maryland. I stopped to try to get some fresh crabs, and that was a disaster. I tried to order a crab, like a fried crab.
Uh-huh.
The guy sold me on how good the fried crab was.
Uh-huh.
And I get it, and it's a crab that's just deep fried. And like when you pull through the frying, the breading, it was still hard. It was like a hard shell crab. And I didn't have a tool for that.
Uh-huh.
I don't carry crab leg cutters with me when I
got
travel.
no crackers with you. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so I was like, well, what the hell am I going to do here? And so I'm in the car just trying to dig through it, like cutting my hands trying to get through a crab. I just threw it away. I was like, I wanted to, I go places. I like to eat the local cuisine. So I thought I'll get some fresh Maryland crabs.
You wouldn't have had to worry about that had you just gotten some chicken fingers.
You're right. You're right.
You'd have been full.
Yeah. But anyway, good trip. Lots of fun.
Now, have you talked to this girl since you left?
Oh, yeah.
So the love is still on?
Oh, yeah. We've been texting. Yeah.
She coming down for a football game?
That's my plan, is to try to get her down here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Love was in the air. I saw you out on the dance floor.
Where did you see that? Because I don't even know if I've seen that.
Just a couple people. You know how people are. They got to post everything on social media. I saw a couple videos from the wedding on social media.
Videos?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You seemed like everybody was really, really having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I mean, you're right. Love was in the air. Now, it was a Catholic ceremony, so that took a long time. I mean, we were sitting in the church pew for like 2 hours. But once that was over with, everybody had a great time. Cocktail hour. We were right there by Central Park. Very picturesque. It was just beautiful.
Nice. Bubba, you good over there?
I'm solid as a rock.
Okay. Love that. You feeling okay? The P team's there coughing a lot today. You guys all right?
No, who knows what happened to us. Like, back in the olden times, if we were pirates on a ship, we'd probably be, on the verge of getting thrown over.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. The way the weather is, the way the human body is in terms of, keeping the human body happy and healthy. That's the words we're looking for.
Okay.
Live, laugh, love.
It's, trying to live. Forget laughing or loving, That's two more way complex things I got to focus on.
Sometimes I regret asking.
Thank you, John.
You should always find time to laugh and love, Bubba. You should always find time to laugh and love, maybe even cry. If you can cry, laugh, and love in a day, it's a solid day, man.
Also, one more thing. I wanted to shout out our good buddy Nathan Odom, who housed me, and we had a great night in Philly. I stayed an extra, Sunday.
Are you guys punking me right now?
I've been like this for a little bit.
What the hell's going on? Do you want some medicine? You want a Zyrtec?
No.
More like the D team.
Then figure it out.
For disease over there.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Either take a medicine, drink some water, or figure it out. You got that, Jackson? Figure it out. Do you want some medicine? You already took some, all right? So you're at least trying to fix the problem. You just going to tough it out, Bubba?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not tougher than your allergies, man.
I'm building my body up to pristine condition. You just don't know it yet.
Sounds like it.
If I can naturally do that and get rid of my problems, John, we're on the right track. Instead of depending on a Zyrtec to fix my allergies.
Well, you haven't fixed the problem, brother.
Exactly.
Okay.
With or without the medicine that has been
No, when I gave you the medicine last week, all of a sudden your eyes quit watering and you were all right. You seemed pretty good after I gave you the medicine last week.
Acting like you're my caregiver. Get out of here, John.
I'm not acting like I'm your caregiver. I'm acting like I'm tired of you going.
You heard it here first. John will never visit anybody in the hospital if they're sick because he says, hey, you got to do something else differently.
Your logic is so flawed all the time. I used to think of you as a logical person, but your logic is so flawed. If someone was in the hospital, Bubba, they'd be trying to fix themselves. That's all I ask.
And
they'd be in there taking medicine.
And me clearing my throat is trying to fix my issue.
That's not you. That's you
dealing. I'll talk like this the rest of the show.
That's you dealing with the symptom. That's what you're dealing with. You're not trying to prevent the symptom. You're dealing with the symptom.
Because the symptom's already there, John. You can't prevent it once it's already been established.
That's why you take medicine.
Or you can just...
That's like saying, I got a cold. Already got a cold. No reason to take medicine now. I'm already sick. No, you take the medicine to get rid of the cold, Bubba.
Okay, by your logic, I shouldn't be, using a tissue then to blow my nose if I got a cold.
How is that my logic at all?
I should have taken medicine to prevent that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you should still try to blow your nose if you've got snot running all over your nose.
Okay, I should still blow my nose, so then I should still clear my throat if it's all.
You should still do those things.
All right,
but
thank
you should
John.
also take some medicine to prevent you from having to do those things.
We'll see how the tides turn, John.
We'll see how the tides turn. Do you want me to go get you some medicine and shoot it in your mouth like the pill gun?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm looking out for you and the audience.
Mics were off.
It's a small room.
Just a total disaster on the other side of the room. It's like Tel Aviv over there. These guys are just falling apart.
Now, I will say shout out to Jackson. He's trying to take care of himself. He's trying to take some medicine. I appreciate that, Jackson.
I am. I'm on, I think, 2 days of Dayquil and NyQuil.
How about that? What a concept, Bubba.
And he doesn't sound like he's getting any better, John.
I'm not. I'm going to urgent care after this.
Well, there you go. Another step. What's wrong with you?
Financially.
I think I caught whatever Bubba had, but because I'm
You think you caught it from Bubba?
he's been sick the last 2 weeks, and the only person I know that's been sick the last 2
Damn,
weeks,
that's
besides
tough.
myself a couple weeks ago, but that was like throwing up sick. So
Maybe you gave it to Bubba, then it got back
Yeah.
to you.
But because I'm going on a trip this weekend, I have to, my family's forcing me to go get tested for probably everything. So
Everything?
Oh, yeah, you're going to Africa, aren't you?
yeah, well, my mom recommended I go get tested for strep, sinus infection, COVID, all the.
Malaria, West Nile virus.
I might as well.
Yeah,
Crabs.
crabs. I mean, why would they even sell you that without giving you a tool to?
Did they try to say the tool afterwards?
No, there were no tools. Am I just
Well, you wanted to eat like the local cuisine does. I imagine the locals keep that thing on them.
Well, I guess so. That's what I was. Is there a way to get into a crab leg without? I couldn't do it.
I imagine
I couldn't do it.
you take your fist and you just Wreck-It Ralph just hammer down on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Great reference.
And I just threw him away.
So I assume this is more than just the leg part. It's also
No, it was an entire crab, hard, fried hard. I felt bad for the guy when I threw him in the trash. I was like, "I'm sorry, this was your legacy, buddy. I wanted to enjoy you."
Kind of soft of you to give up.
No
Should've
to-go
found a damn
box?
rock.
Yeah, huh?
No to-go box.
To-go box.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a to-go box.
I can see that my wires have been crossed somewhere along the line. Apologies.
Let's go to break. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio. Got a little bit of news coming out over the middle of the night. The NBA season is over, but you started getting teams starting to jockey for position, some to contend, like the Houston Rockets and Kevin Durant, and some to start worrying about some impending money, which I think led to the Portland Trail Blazers and the Boston Celtics striking a deal last night as the Boston Celtics send off one of the key members of their championship team, Drew Holiday. They send him to Portland for VFL and Anthony Simons. The Celtics also get 2 second-round picks on top of it. Seems to be a salary cap move as the Celtics save a couple $1 million, but maybe more importantly, get off of the next 2 years of Drew Holiday's money, where he'll make $35 million and then $37 million over the next 2 years. So they save $5 million in the immediate future with an eye towards more flexibility later on. Anthony Simons, a solid player, an offensive guy first. I don't know how their defensive identity will be impacted by losing Drew Holiday. I don't know what Portland is really trying to do out west. I don't know if they're trying to take Holiday and have him mentor Scoot Henderson and some other young guards and try to mold them into playoff guys, or if they just looked and said, hey, Anthony Simons is heading into the last year of his contract, and we don't want to give him a big extension, so let's just go ahead and get rid of him. Maybe they'll flip Drew Holiday to another team because at his age, 35, 36 years old, he's not really somebody you have long-term plans for. And the Portland Trail Blazers seem like they are looking at a long-term, process there. So maybe they turn and they try to trade Drew Holiday to somebody else to see if anybody wants him, although at that contract, I don't know if it'll happen.
Anthony Simons. VFL. Yeah. And when I think of his career as a Vol, the first thing I think is who is that? Who was he? And then the second thing is when was he a Vol? That's my first thoughts there.
This would have been, I guess, maybe around 2018.
Uh-huh.
Maybe 2020, actually.
Yeah.
2020 sounds about right.
COVID. Shout out.
It's easy to forget the COVID year.
Yeah, shout out Wuhan.
But no, this is all the way back in 2018, actually. Wow. Can't believe he's already been in the league for 7 years. That's crazy. He, of course, never actually came to Tennessee, but he's a VFL because he was going to come to Tennessee, but decided to go pro instead.
He's like he's Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not exactly like to the point where like Mookie was like in the last hour getting ready to sign with Tennessee. It wasn't like that with Simons, but I just remember following his recruitment. He was a 5-star guard, and his parents loved Barnes, and they were going to send him here, but then they had like some time. I guess he was from IMG, if I remember correctly. So he had like the weird thing where he had technically already been out of school, so he could go pro without having to go to college. It was something weird.
Well, he probably made a good decision.
He did a postgraduate year at IMG, so yeah, like he was technically like still out of high school, but it wasn't real high school, so he was draft eligible, and then yeah, he went to the NBA draft and got picked somewhere like in the early 20s, if I remember correctly.
It sounds like he's doing all right now.
But he was going to be a Vol, as far as I'm concerned, so he's a VFL in my book.
He wanted to be here. It's like when you apply for school but you don't get in. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there who consider themselves to be Vols. They couldn't get accepted to Tennessee. Maybe their GPA was too low or whatnot. They're still Vols, though. They would have came here. It's just that they didn't get accepted. So they had to go to, wherever, Chattanooga.
Some people have to go to Pellissippi when that's the case. or UTC. Some get to go to the NBA and make, $150, $200 million.
Yeah. Both can be successful paths. One, you get a little more money maybe up front. The other one, you maybe get the degree and then have to get a job, but everybody's got their own path.
I don't know what this does for the Celtics in the immediate future. I don't know if they have plans to sign Anthony Simons because, again, he's heading into the last year of his contract. It doesn't seem like he would be in the long-term plans there. He seems a little redundant to Tatum and Brown and Holiday, although maybe – or not Holiday, excuse me, White, although maybe he would be one of the main scoring options. He's going to have a great chance this season. Like if Boston keeps him for this 1 year as a test run, he will have a great opportunity there just because, of course, no Jason Tatum. They will need a little scoring punch. So like in the 2025/26 season, this is a move to make the Celtics a little bit more of a threat, or at least it rounds them out a little bit offensively. And you hope that, Derek White and I guess an old-ass Al Horford and just like the team concept of defense can keep them afloat defensively. It seems like the Celtics are in trouble next year, but like I said, it's about the long-term money if I'm looking at it from a Celtics perspective. You maybe try to – I don't know if you can get all the way under the tax, but you want to get off that second apron and try to shed some salary. We'll see if Kristaps Porzingis is next, as he is heading into the last year of a $31 million contract. We'll see if they do anything to try to get off of him.
Over the weekend in New York, they had several NBA players who were there as part of an event.
Did you see any of them?
No, but I met a guy.
Where were you at? Was that where the Fanatics Con was?
Yeah. Isn't that where Durant was when he heard that he was? Yeah. So
it seemed like it was almost set up by the league and they're big partners when it comes to apparel to have that promotion go off with a little bit extra publicity.
I know LeBron was there. Several NFL players, Jamar Chase, Jaden Daniels. I actually met a guy at the diner who was like a bodyguard, like a security man for these guys. He said he had been hanging around Jamar Chase and Jaden Daniels all day. This guy was a mountain of a man.
So he's just like security in New York City, like for certain events?
Yeah, and I guess he had gotten contracted out as like a, however that works, to work with them.
Right, so he doesn't like follow them around. They just hire different guards when they go to the city? I
guess so, and he said Jaden Daniels needed added security, and he was like on his team or whatever, him and Jamar Chase. And this guy looked like he could protect a quarterback.
Jaden Daniels,
if you know what I mean.
Jaden Daniels needs added security.
He was huge. He looked like he could have been a left tackle. Really nice guy, though. Shout out Malik.
I was going to say, like,
he had chicken and waffles with us. He suggested to us the chicken and waffles.
Nice. Were they good?
Very good. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you need added security like in a big celebrity event like that? Like I would imagine there'd be enough security, enough police around, and also just like enough famous people where you necessarily wouldn't be the target. But also maybe, I guess, in a place like New York City, you might get some wild boys out there trying to hit a lick with all the money in town. I guess next thing you know, Jaden Daniels is kidnapped and they're demanding a ransom.
Yeah,
the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, big cities, violence. It's a thing. Gotham.
I don't really think of it like in Manhattan, though.
They made Batman for a reason.
That is true.
You don't think of Manhattan when you think violence?
Not really. Not where all the rich people would be. Not really.
There's still.
I don't think of violence like near Wall Street and stuff.
Well, I don't know about.
Not that type of violence, at least.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of known for it historically. But, that's like the 70s, 80s. Maybe it's not as bad now. But I don't know. You always see these things about some guy getting randomly stabbed on the subway. But, it's a huge city.
Yeah, I can't imagine Jaden Daniels taking a subway.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Sure, the subway's a different story. That's underground, literally. Anything goes there.
Yeah. It's a dirty place. A lot of rats. I wouldn't expect my franchise quarterback to be on the subway.
You would hope not. There was some cringy stuff coming out of there, but there was also some cool stuff. Like the Tom Brady wrestling intro was really cringe. Tom Brady, I've done a 180 on him again. I'm headed back the other direction now. I don't really like Tom Brady.
He's no longer cool.
Yeah, no, I think he's a cringy old man.
Okay.
I'm going the other way. For a while, I was like, oh, Tom Brady sucks. And then it was actually Tom Brady's kind of cool.
How many? Sorry.
Please, Jackson, go ahead.
How many different times did he rip up an Eli Manning jersey?
That's what I'm saying. He was like spitting on one. He was trying to do like a wrestling thing, and it wasn't working. You could tell Tom Brady's never really watched wrestling. They're making some of these athletes do like wrestling entrances. They like that to give them music and give them a crowd. Like James Harden came out as Hulk Hogan. You could tell like the guys that never watched wrestling because they just go immediately into their act or they try to go over the top. They don't really let the aura set in. And Brady was as cringy as anybody.
I have really no interest in Tom Brady's entertainment career. The only time I've ever liked Tom Brady was like toward the end of his NFL career, just to see like, can the guy still do it? How long can he do it? Like winning the Super Bowl with the Bucs was kind of cool. Just seeing like, oh yeah, this guy, he's awesome. You know, I enjoyed watching him the last few years he played, but I have no interest in his entertainment career at all. I don't really care what he does. I mean, I like the roast, but I don't know how much he actually really even enjoyed that or was a part of that. Like, I enjoyed the comedians of it, you know. So, whatever he does from now on, that doesn't really matter to me. I don't care if he calls the games or doesn't call the games, you know.
Johnny Manziel was there. Johnny Manziel hits the fan cash wheel. It's kind of sad. I feel like Johnny Manziel maybe was out here trying to get some money.
He probably needed the money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was he actually there just as a fan trying to win? He did win $25. Thought it was gonna be $500.
25.
Yeah,
He's getting closer and closer to half a gram.
Okay. Well, that'd have been cool to actually go to. I don't know how expensive it is to go to the Fanatics Fan Fest or whatever, but that'd have been kind of cool to go to.
Yeah,
There's a lot of famous people in one. I guess like Fanatics, that is kind of cool that they do that. Like that's maybe like we had to get rid of the Diddy parties and like the Rick Rubin all white parties. Maybe we just had to do the Fanatics Fan Fest out in public where we know that the celebrities aren't into weird sex stuff.
Now it's just that and like the Met Gala and the Oscars. That's the only place they go. They all get together now. Really, they probably still have parties.
Bub, any thoughts on your Boston Celtics trade in Drew Holiday?
Great decision by the Boston Celtics.
Your Celtics.
Not exactly mine. Well, it's crazy that you would think that they'd be mine. I don't own any team.
Well, you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Just the team you support.
I don't know if I support the Boston Celtics.
Their name starts with a B.
It's a good start.
What do you mean by that?
That's why you said you root for the Red Sox. You said it definitely wasn't the World Series championships and stuff they were winning.
Oh, right, because that was about 2005 whenever I started playing T-ball.
Sure. But Boston is still a B for the Celtics.
Okay, let me be 25 years old and do that same logic here, John. It's not working. I'm sorry.
It could have been back in 2008 when the Celtics won a championship. Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. That had been right around the same time.
KG.
Could have just became a Boston sports fan.
What do you think about the Celtics in this trade, John?
I think that they are going to try to save some money. I don't see them giving Simons a big contract after this because that just creates another problem, like of having your quote-unquote big three be, or really be a four when you add Derek White in there. Derek White's a better player than Simons at this point. So, like, it does feel like a one-year rental type of situation. Maybe you hope you're getting the best out of him, and then you could do like a sign and trade or something afterwards. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if they tried to move him again or if Holiday was moved again. Like, I think we're in for a really weird timing right now for NBA fans because the new CBA that created this second apron that created these penalties for having expensive teams and for having repeat expensive teams is going to make teams have to move off some salary for the first time in a long time. And then when you combine that with a couple teams in the East, like the Celtics and the Pacers and the Bucks, who have, $50 million sitting on the shelf this upcoming year due to like a popped Achilles. I know Halliburton's not quite $50 million, but you get the point. Like, I think that's going to lead to teams to be like, hey, do we want to waste one of our quote-unquote go-for-it years or one of our expensive years? Do we want to waste one of those whenever we don't have the actual talent to do this right now because of injuries?
Were you did you know that was an Achilles as soon as you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
You knew it as soon as he went down and started hitting the ground. Like, and then you saw the replay and you saw the pop.
See the pop. Yeah.
But I knew the way he went down and was hitting the floor, and then like you could read his lips even before you saw the replay of saying, "Yeah, I did it. I bleeping did it." Like it happened. Like basically, like he says he felt it. Like you knew it was. You're already kind of on alert with it because of the playing with the calf injury and watching what happened to Tatum, Durant, and Dame. Like, I was kind of on alert for it already. So when he went down, at first, like, man, what a bad turnover. But then he never got up, and you're like, oh, boy, this ain't good.
Yeah, it was non-contact.
Yeah.
We were watching in a bar, and everybody gasped when it happened. Everybody's like, oh.
Well, they made sure to show the replay about 50 times to make sure they drove home the point that he popped his Achilles.
And all the guys around were, oh, that's an Achilles. It's an Achilles. You could tell by the way he fell. And and then you see it, and it literally just separates the. I don't know exactly what the Achilles is. A tendon, right?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it looks bad on the replay. I found myself really pulling for them after that.
Yeah.
And they kept it, through what, 3 quarters. I mean, they were in it.
Yeah, but pretty much the entire final they talked about. Don't really care, no real rooting interest. I'm like, I'd like the Pacers to win. But then, once that injury happened, I found the Thunder to be very dislikable. Like, I didn't really like the Thunder. I was rooting hard for the Pacers after that, so then I ended up getting disappointed in a series that I didn't even really care about. So that was annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least they got it to 7. I mean, who knows what would have happened had he not gone down there with the injury.
Well, yesterday I called it the most demoralizing loss a fan base has ever had.
Well, I mean, seems like it'd be pretty heartbreaking.
I said, in the NBA for sure, and then we went through a couple other sports. But like the losing a Game 7 winner take all gives you that Super Bowl feeling, but then also like your star player, the face of your franchise, goes down to an excruciating injury that maybe ruins him for the rest of his career.
Your star player getting hurt in the championship game, yeah, I mean that's
where he's got to throw it a whole another year away. Like if you're the Pacers, you don't have anything to look forward to next year either.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough one. It's a pretty tough L.
Bubba, send us to break. Let's talk sports on Fan Run Radio.
You're listening to Fan Run Radio, the sports humans. Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Is your smile ready for the spotlight? Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco, and at Knoxville Smiles, we make every visit a reason to smile. From routine cleanings to dazzling cosmetic treatments, our experienced team uses the latest technology to keep your teeth healthy and your smile bright. With a warm, welcoming atmosphere and personalized care, we're here to make sure you leave feeling your best. Don't wait. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Book your appointment today at 865-539-1776 or online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
If I had 2 dozen roses,
Back in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. You can find you a bottle of wine or a couple of cases of White Claw. Responsibly, of course. Kind of surprising when you realize the season just ended yesterday. But, Cody, did you know that the NBA draft is tomorrow?
I did not know that.
The season just ended, but we're getting ready to get back into, basketball with the draft.
Do they just pick a different day every year?
What do you mean?
Like, is it normally right after the season?
Well, the season went as long as it possibly could with the Game 7 of the finals, so I think that kind of plays into it a little bit. So, I mean, I feel like it's usually the last week of June because the free agency typically starts at the beginning of July, so it does feel that way. But it feels like last year, of course, where, Tennessee won a national championship in baseball, and the next thing you know, hey, it's football season.
Yeah.
Where you went about as far as you possibly could go. We were kind of locked in all the way through Game 7 of the finals, but, yeah, that means that you get here, and now the draft is on Wednesday. Tennessee got a chance to make history if and when Chaz Lanier is drafted. He will be the fifth straight representative for a year for Tennessee basketball. It'll be the fifth straight year, not just the fifth player, but the fifth straight year that Tennessee will have somebody drafted. But that'll be the first time that's happened in the modern draft era. The modern draft era, of course, since they moved to 2 rounds in 1989. It'll be the first time Tennessee's had somebody drafted for 5 straight years. How about that?
Well, that's an accomplishment. I mean, very, very impressive to be able to do that.
Chaz Lanier not really showing up at all in any first-round mocks, so he's not like a shoe-in to be drafted. I believe he will be. Pretty confident he will be, but he's not showing up in first-round mocks. And the second round does get a little crazy sometimes with people, selling picks and trading for picks and taking some stash guys overseas. And next thing you know, it's just a whole bunch of foreigners that they're sometimes maybe not even coming over to play. But I do still anticipate Chaz Lanier will be drafted.
Where would you like to see him go? Anywhere in particular?
Nah. I mean, with him, you just want to go I feel like if you're a second-round pick, it's twofold, right? Would you rather go somewhere where you're maybe guaranteed to get some minutes, or do you go somewhere maybe where, the team is you're going to a good team that's expensive that maybe you could crack a rotation and be like a cheap asset? Like, keep in mind, last year, Dalton Connect, we thought, went to a place that would need him, and then he actually found himself, on the back burner, getting paid, of course, but not getting really any opportunities because they were trying to go out and win a championship, and they didn't have time to worry about developing rookies.
I think I would always rather see a guy go to the good team and try to crack the rotation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a better setup. It's a better situation.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do, and like I said, it seemed like Connect was going to do it, and who knows how the season would have played out had they not made the Luka Doncic trade. But, once they got Luka, he was pretty much non-existent on the team, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is moved before the draft tomorrow. That's why you saw the Drew Holiday trade happen this morning, is that teams are going to start jockeying. That's why you saw Kevin Durant get traded on Sunday. Wait, they're getting traded right now? Game 7's tonight. Doesn't matter. Phoenix wanted that number 10 pick in Wednesday's draft, and they wanted time to host some interviews and do some last-minute scouting. So you'll see some trades over the next, 36, 40 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if Dalton Connect is one of those guys that gets moved.
Well, it'd be interesting to see where he ends up. I just don't want him to get lost in some small market where he's no good and nobody's paying attention to him. And, I mean, even if he is good, you just don't really hear about it.
So you'd rather him stay with the Lakers and take his chances playing next to LeBron and Luka as at this point it seems kind of like a long shot, or would you rather him maybe go somewhere?
I would rather him be on the Lakers.
Even if he's not playing?
Well, if he's in the rotation, and because LeBron ain't gonna. I mean, the Lakers are changing. As Bob Dylan once said, times they are a-changing, and LeBron's not going to be around forever. He'll be retired soon enough, and Connects could have a career in front of him. They're changing ownership. I mean, who knows?
It would have been nice to see him go to the Hornets last year. And
You wanted to see him with the Hornets?
not because the Hornets are like good or anything, but I feel like he would have been able to flesh out a role. I mean, he barely came off the bench towards the end of the season in Los Angeles, and I feel like his demeanor kind of changed watching him on the sidelines and after the games and stuff. He just, before that trade, he looked one way, and then after that trade got rejected or whatever happened with it, he just looked a different way. Like, he didn't really want to be in Los Angeles, to me. So, yeah, I would have liked to see him go to Charlotte and get to actually play.
It was a little awkward when they were going to trade him, and then it didn't work out, and then he's just kind of there. It was a little awkward.
I'm looking at a list of, guys to finish, near the top of MVP voting and, where they were drafted and kind of, which position maybe leads to more. Of course, the number one overall pick, LeBron James, but would it's actually kind of crazy. They haven't had the number one pick hasn't finished top 5 in MVP voting since 2020.
Is that so?
Number 2 overall hasn't had it since Kevin Durant in 2016. That's kind of crazy. But when you look at the last couple years of, MVPs, SGA number 11 overall. Jokic, 41st overall. Giannis, 15th overall. Those guys weren't even top 10 picks, It's kind of crazy that, that the first overall pick and the second overall pick hasn't finished top 5 since, like I said, COVID. Third pick had Tatum do it. Fourth pick had Chris Paul do it, but Chris Paul is 2021 as well. So fifth overall hasn't had it since 2010, if this is to be accurate. It kind of makes those top 5 overall picks. That can't be right.
Makes him seem overrated.
I don't know. That can't be right. Luka's finished top 5 in MVP voting, right? Luka's finished top 5. Any interest at all in the NBA draft tomorrow? Is there any prospects? I mean, I care about where Chaz Lanier goes, and I care about the trade surrounding it, but really, Cooper Flag to Dallas is cool. I guess we care a little bit about Ace Bailey and how far he falls down, but I don't even know if anybody even, really cares about Ace Bailey at all. It's a name that you know. But that was a guy at Rutgers, and I imagine, Cody, you watched 0 minutes of Rutgers basketball last year.
Yeah.
And I say that because I watched 0 minutes of Rutgers basketball, and I consider myself way more of a basketball freak than you are. They had 2 top, 3 or 4 talents, and I don't think anybody got in front of the TV and watched them at all. They might as well have been in the G League.
I might have seen a highlight by accident or something, but I don't recall it. So yeah, no, I wasn't sitting down in front of the TV for it.
There's talk about him falling, him maybe trying to pull a Shedeur Sanders and kind of dictate where he gets drafted. Because when you look, past the Mavericks at 1 and the Spurs at 2, because Dylan Harper seems like he is going to go number 2 overall, the other Rutgers guy, the point guard. I think you'd want to be with the Sixers at 3, maybe. But Charlotte, Utah, Washington, New Orleans, those are the next picks. But if you can hold on and get to 8, you can be in New York City. Or 9, you could be in Toronto. Or 10, you can be in Phoenix. Those cities are a little bit more appealing. So people are saying that he's pulling a Shedeur and trying to tank his way out of that top 7 consideration.
What happens if you get drafted to Toronto and you don't have a passport?
I do wonder if you could say that, hey, sorry, I can't come.
I can't get into the country.
The idea of the draft is crazy. Because, nobody could really make us go work in Canada. Like, you know.
I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting to just not know what city you're going to, and then you get picked by one, and like I feel like you probably kind of rank them in your head, like of where you'd want to go.
Yeah, there's parts of me that'd be thinking about like team fit and like franchise, but also like, man, I don't want to live in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in Portland. They're godless up there in Portland.
Minnesota, it's going to be negative 27 in the winter.
Much less like, hey, now you got to go to Canada and pay Canada and United States taxes.
Yeah.
And
is that how it works?
And you got to get your passport.
Yeah, you get free health care, though. That's good.
But it'll take you just 3 months to get to see a doctor.
Yeah. So they say.
That would suck to get drafted to just have to go work to Canada. Imagine like the radio's just like, hey, Cody, we're trading you to Canada.
I'd have no desire to go to Canada. I'd be like, Canada? Really? Me? That's where you want me? I like being south of the Mason-Dixon line. I like a lot of places down here.
Oh, you got to New York City and said, you know what, never mind.
No, I mean, I like it. It's exciting. It's one of those places where I think I'd like to live there for like 3 months, you know, and then just that'd be enough. It'd be cool just to experience it. But I wouldn't want to be there long term. Now, if I was in the NBA, maybe.
Yeah, if you were rich.
Yeah, like if I played for the Knicks
in
the Garden, I think that'd be a little different. I think I could probably swing it then, you know.
Send me to hell or New York City. It'll be about the same to me. Hour 1 in the books. We'll kick off hour 2 with some headlines. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio.
The flagship station for Tennessee football. Fans. Fan Run Radio.
Citizens National Bank. You want a bank that lets you bank when and where you want to. Your local branch, the grocery store, your computer, your phone, it's up to you. You want people who care about taking care of you and your money too. Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update. Presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Ronald Acuna homer, Spencer Schwellenbach shines. The Braves top the Mets. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
For the 4th time this season, the Braves have topped the Mets. 3-2 winners are the Braves on Monday night. Ronald Acuna with a solo blast. Spencer Schwellenbach with 7 strong innings. And Dylan Lee, a 4-out save, which included a strikeout of Juan Soto with 2 on and 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well-rounded win for the Braves. They'll go for Game 2 tonight right here on the Braves Radio Network. Spencer Strider going for the Braves. He's 2-5, has a 3.89 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 13 walks, and a 1.14 whip. Frankie Montas going for the Mets. This will be his first start of the season. He suffered a lat strain, still coming back from that. He was 0-3, has a 12.05 ERA, and a 2.14 whip during his rehab assignments in Syracuse and in Brooklyn. For leadoff show coming your way at 5:55. First pitch against the Mets, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, right here on the Braves Radio Network.
Good morning. It's steady flow of traffic right now headed out towards Oak Ridge on that Solway Bridge. Watching it increase now down I-75, passing the Caravel exit.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
I think if you have 2 #1 movies in 1 year, that's a pretty big deal.
You're listening to Talk Sports.
Well, I'm rooting for the guy. I mean, we need a good Glenn in Hollywood. The name Glenn is not as prominent as it was some years ago.
Well, I also think we need a new leading man. I think we need a new good young actor to kind of take that role, because it kind of took Gosling a while to he had to do Drive first before he got to be like, hey, now I'm kind of the rough and tough guy.
Hard to do rough and tough when you star in Barbie, too.
Airing every day
from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Well, that was what the whole movie was about. You putting people in unfair boxes. So I guess you missed the point of the movie.
Sometimes people need to be in a box.
No, they don't. Not unless they die. When I die, don't put me in a box. Just bury me loose.
We all end up in a box, don't we?
On 1340 WKGN.
I want to be thrown off the Empire State Building, and whoever my body hits wins the Publishers Clearinghouse.
I wish you would step back from that ledge.
Seltzer Studios. Let's hit some Hour 2 headlines. What you got, Big Mac?
Thanks, John. Tyrese Halliburton says he'd do it again on playing through the calf strain. I'd do it again and again after that to fight for this city and my brothers, he wrote in an emotional statement posted to social media last night. It was for the chance to do something special. So he would do it again.
I don't think I'm surprised that he says that, but I am curious how the Indiana Pacers as an organization feel. Like, would the Pacers let him go out there and play, knowing that he pops his Achilles and that now their big investment, the face of their franchise, is going to miss all of the next season and then maybe never get back to 100% after that?
Bubba, are you playing elevator music behind the headlines? Is this a new thing we're doing?
Well, it's a thing we used to do. I put the headline.
I do remember back in the day, yeah.
I put the headline mix back in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of like it. It sounded like elevator music there for a second.
It's not elevator music, I don't think.
Crank it up a little. I can barely hear it now. There you go. Yeah. This is the mood you want to be in as I tell you about the Las Vegas Athletics as they celebrate the groundbreaking of their $1.75 billion Vegas stadium. They say they are Vegas's team. With mounds of dirt, construction vehicles, and the exact location where home plate will be at the new A's ballpark serving as the backdrop Monday morning, the team owner stood in front of a large gathering with one message: we are Vegas's team. You excited about the A's new stadium?
Kind of, just in the sense of, like, I think the Oakland A's have been just such a dead franchise since Moneyball. Like, I mean, they've been a little depressing. The war with the fans, moving out, the gutting the payroll, not spending any money. The hope is that when they go to Vegas, they'll actually spend some money and try to compete. So, like, from that perspective, I'm interested.
Nevada and Clark County have approved up to $380 million in public funds for the new project. And the team president says he has no doubt this will be done by 2028. Hell, that's 3 years from now. Makes it a little less exciting.
Do you like the Raiders more or less since they moved to Vegas? Has it impacted your thoughts on them at all, going from Oakland to Vegas?
It hasn't changed my thoughts on the Raiders, no. Not really. I'm sure it sucks for the people of Oakland, but
yeah,
it hasn't impacted my life in any way other than driving by and seeing the stadium and being like, wow, what a stadium. It is a very impressive stadium. I've also been in the stadium, so I don't know why I said driving by it. I guess it was pretty impressive to be inside it, too, from what I recall. It's a nice place. Well, there's a nationwide.
Does kind of suck that both of them are Oakland teams moving to Vegas. I don't know if I fully always make that connection when I think about it, but like, yeah, they stole the Raiders and now they're stealing the A's.
I don't know what happens. What happens if you're an Oakland fan? Like if you're an Oakland native and you grow up and you're like, hey, other side of the bay, this is where I'm. This is me, baby. And then all your teams leave.
It seems like the Raiders still get support from their diehards. I mean, I know they're a national fan base because of the '70s and John Madden and all that, and the silver and black and the the spikes and all that. The Pirates logo was cool. I liked it as a kid. I know people root for them. I don't know about the city of Oakland in specific, but if the Titans moved, how far is Oakland from Vegas? A couple hours, like 5 hours, 6 hours?
I'd say 5 to 6 hours. Yeah, that's a good guess.
If the Titans moved to like Mississippi,
why would you ever do that?
No, I know, but I'm just saying somewhere close by. I mean, make it whatever city close by. If they moved to Louisville, Kentucky, or I don't know. That's a little bit too close. You get the comparison, though. If the Titans moved out of the city, and all of a sudden we're like on the other side of the state line, 6 hours away, would I still root for them? Probably, but I don't know. Actually, probably not. If they weren't the Tennessee Titans, I would probably go find someone else to root for.
Microsoft Bing says it's more like 8 hours from Oakland to Vegas because you can't really go across Yosemite.
Okay.
So you got to take the 5 down and then get off at Bakersfield.
Okay.
Go all the way across the Mojave Desert. It'll take you a little longer than you'd think.
At this age, I think I would give up on them. I think as I got older, I'd probably give up on them even more. If I was like 15, maybe that generation will still grow up rooting for them. I don't know. I lean towards quitting them. You want to disrespect my state by moving out? Like, I can't imagine many like St. Louis people still root for the Rams. I imagine they all just gravitated towards the Chiefs.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, if you grow up as a fan of a team, like, I mean, that's a big amount of commitment.
Yeah, but they stab you in the back, they leave.
I can tell you, John, very few people in St. Louis that were Rams fans like the Chiefs.
Okay. I feel like I got some friends that lived out there that said that they and their friends went to the Chiefs, so maybe it's all anecdotal. But, yeah, either way, it would have been a good time as a kid to lose the Rams and get the Chiefs, around the same time, Mahomes and Andy Reid and everybody is close enough.
Were there a lot of Rams fans in St. Louis? I mean, did they have good support in St. Louis?
I think so. They won a Super Bowl there.
I know they did.
They had decent enough support, but they also wouldn't pay for them a new stadium, and like they were still like a Cardinals town type of thing. So
seemed like a big hit for St. Louis. Like, I feel like it's pretty cool if you have the NFL in your city, and then suddenly you don't, and it's just
it does. It is one of the lines of delineation when it comes to deciding who's a major city and who's not.
Oh, sure.
Like when we were looking yesterday, because I don't know if you realize this, Cody, but Tennessee is now the only professional state with no professional title.
The only one?
Unless you count Utah's MLS championship. Otherwise, it's us and Utah, so it depends on how you feel about the MLS. But Utah joins us if you don't count the MLS, which granted, with Utah, they only have, a couple professional teams. They just got a hockey team. They got the Jazz. And then, yeah, it comes down to whether or not you believe the MLS team is. But either way, Tennessee, either one of one or one of two professional states without a championship.
It's cool to be number one at something.
No, it's not. That's what Tommy Fleetwood said, heading into round 4 before he choked on Sunday. I'm not going to be thinking, whenever the Titans lose in the Super Bowl next year, oh, well, at least we're number one in something. At least we didn't lose our cool title we have of state with no championship.
Yeah, I mean, the Predators had a nice run to the Stanley Cup. Titans had the run to the Super Bowl. The Grizzlies, how close have the Grizzlies ever come?
They got to the conference finals and got swept.
Okay.
In 2014.
Who's closest
2013, 2014?
Are the Grizzlies or the Titans better set up for the future to make a run.
I mean, you got to say the Grizzlies are better set up right now just because John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., like when John Morant is healthy, like they can go out and win 50 games and have a chance. They got a bunch of extra first-round picks from the Desmond Bane trade, and we don't know what Cam Ward looks like. Now, if I see Cam Ward play this year and he looks even, like 90% of what Jaden Daniels is, then that answer probably changes, and you think, okay, now we got a quarterback that could win us a championship. But for now, I can't say that. We haven't seen him play. I know the Preds are kind of just mired in mediocrity.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Yosemite, and speaking of that part of the country, Lake Tahoe, you've probably heard of it. 8 people are dead after a boat capsized on Lake Tahoe in a sudden storm. They have found the body of the last missing person from the boat. 8 people dead on Lake Tahoe.
All right.
Now, explain to me how you die, because I've always wondered.
Your heart stops beating and your body shuts down.
I've always wondered about this, though, when I hear about people dying out on the lake, like out on the water. If the boat capsized, and I'm probably completely ignorant here to what happens, which is why I'm asking, but could you not just swim away? I've always wondered that about boat deaths.
In an ocean?
No, it's in Lake Tahoe.
Oh.
Could you not swim to the shore?
In the middle of the lake?
I mean, I know Lake Tahoe's big, so like maybe they weren't close to a shore.
Does it say what time of day it was?
I'd have to read the story. Let's see.
Because I agree. I don't know. Does something happen to the water?
Like when you get sucked
down?
Like
whenever things start sinking, does that create like a funnel that brings you down?
That's kind of what I assume.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's how you drown. But like if it's just a regular old boat, like I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably ignorant to the science here, but I just feel like you'd be able to live. It was a power boat, just a regular boat. Capsized Sunday on Lake Tahoe amid a sudden storm. Now, the sudden storm probably adds a wrinkle.
According to physics.science.narchive.com, a sinking ship does create some suction, although it's not nearly as strong as people think. Basically, it might tug you a little bit, but like it's not like it pulls you under.
Says the boat was a 27-foot vessel. Built by Chris Craft, a Florida-based powerboat manufacturer. The boat capsized off the shoreline near D.L. Bliss State Park on the southwest side of Lake Tahoe. So it was on the shoreline. I don't understand.
The stuff just like get on top of you and weigh you down. I mean, it does seem strange. I've always thought the same thing. Now, yeah, if you're out in the ocean or you're out in the middle of the lake, I get it. If you're not a strong swimmer, but I don't quite understand.
Well, a record-setting heat wave is continuing to scorch millions across the U.S. It's quite the blast of heat. I think here today it's going to be 94 and sunny. Be a good day for the pool if you have one, or a good day to go to the lake and, maybe just make sure your boat doesn't capsize. You end up like these folks out in Tahoe, but
you want to go?
Safety first.
You want to go to the pool?
Yeah, I like the pool.
You want to go?
You have one?
I got access to one.
Well, I got access to one.
You want to go?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to flex. I was just asking if you want to go to the pool.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. That's cool.
McDonald's is gearing up for a nationwide boycott beginning today. Well, what am I going to do it?
What are we boycotting? Just all of McDonald's?
Yeah.
Dang, I was just thinking about how I'd like a biscuit.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what to do now.
What are we boycotting? Why are we boycotting? The line should be short at least.
Economic resistance. Advocates are targeting the mega fast food chain as a sign of support against economic resistance. The People's Union, a rising movement known for spearheading boycotts against Amazon, Target, and Walmart in recent months, is now going after McDonald's with a new campaign urging people to avoid the fast food chain from today through June 30th. You asking me to not eat at McDonald's for 6 days?
So 6 days just to, again, what are we boycotting?
I don't know if I've ever done that in my life. That's
Not
probably
go to McDonald's for 6 days?
That's probably not a good sign,
That's
is it?
sad. Are you telling the truth? You haven't gone more than a week without eating McDonald's?
No, that can't be true. I'm not telling the truth there.
Like, even if it's just Burger King, you didn't. The Golden Arches always get you back in.
I mean, the Mickey D's breakfast has been a staple of mine since my childhood. But no, I don't. There's definitely been a time where I didn't go for a week. Definitely. Like, if I found, like, a burrito place I liked or something. And just, like, hit that all week.
Right.
Or, like, my kolache era.
Surely. Were you still going to McDonald's so much when you lived in California?
Yeah, because it was kind of the only thing
place
I
you
knew.
Could, and that was, like, semi-affordable. Like, you didn't have to spend, like, $50.
Yeah, and it was the only place that reminded me of home.
Fair enough.
Like,
I get that.
You always get the Golden Arches. And I had one right down it was right around the corner.
I get that.
See, that's the good thing about McDonald's. Typically, wherever you live, there's going to be one.
That's what I'm talking about when I go places, man. I trust the Golden Arches. There's certain brands you just trust.
Yeah.
Sure. Would it be great to find an untapped diner and eat some good biscuits and gravy or a good egg sandwich? Sure. What if you go in there and it sucks? At least you know that sausage egg biscuit's gonna do what you need it to do.
I wish I knew all my stats about, like,
how many times you've eaten at McDonald's.
Yeah, and like how long it's been. Like, which fast food restaurant, I wonder, is the biggest gap. And I'm counting the ones you go to somewhat regularly. You know what I mean? Like, just because I ate at Long John Silver's a couple times 15 years ago, I'm not really counting that. I wonder, like, what my range is. Because every year you go to Wendy's, you go to McDonald's, you go to Taco Bell or whatever. But I wonder how often I really do it. KFC. Like, for example, when's the last time you had KFC?
The last time I had KFC?
Yeah. Do you even remember?
Yeah. I ate some. It was in the last year.
Taco Bell? You're not a Taco Bell guy.
Last time I had Taco Bell, I mean, it would have had to have been some drunk night when it was the only option for people to, like, get to me.
Yeah.
But, like, that probably has not been the last year. That would probably be more around COVID whenever anything went for me in my life. I was just out there doing whatever I wanted.
Is that a fun
crying
game?
Out for help.
Yeah. Is that a fun game people like to play with you? Is like, oh, John's hammered. We can get him to Taco Bell.
They used to back in the day.
Yeah.
Because they knew that was the only time I'd go.
Because normally you would never go.
Yeah. And I used to not mind the little, chicken burrito for like $1.29. And the last time I was there, it was like $5. And I said, no way.
It's expensive. Taco Bell is, especially if you like to order off the regular menu.
Yeah.
Like, you can spend $20 there pretty easy. And
that would not be within the last year. I would say that's not even been the last 2 years. Like I said, we might be getting all the way back to like 2020, 2021.
I don't like what's happened at Taco Bell.
What about Arby's? When's the last time you've been to Arby's?
Oh, recently.
Yeah.
Because it's just down the street.
When's the last time you've been to Crystal's?
Like, definitely in the last... Does White Castle count? Because I had that in Nashville like 2 weeks ago.
No, I'm not counting White Castle. Although, yeah, if you had it 2 weeks ago, we'll count.
Crystal, definitely in the last, like, 3 months.
When's the last time you had Burger King?
I got some chicken fries like 2 weeks ago.
I don't think I've had Burger King in at least 3 years, maybe 4 years.
I didn't have a burger.
Burger King might actually 4 years.
Burger King is absolute trash.
I used to love the little original chicken sandwich. It is trash. It is trash.
It is.
The first time I had one of those long chicken sandwiches, I was like, oh my God, this is so good. It was just lettuce, mayonnaise, and chicken. I was like, this is delicious. And the bread was good.
Yeah. Oh, I
feel like I've told this story many times, but we were the first customers at the Sweetwater Burger King when it first opened.
You got a lifetime supply.
We traveled from Riceville. Well, you that's not going to do anything for you. We traveled 25 minutes to get there, to be the first on there.
It was a big day.
Very weird behavior. That's what my family wanted to do.
It's such poor quality food.
I know, but the chicken fries do slap, though.
Oh, yeah, and it's like you drive by and they got all these little things on the value menu. I mean, at least they still have a value menu, unlike Taco Bell.
When I lived down on the farm, I mean, there was either McDonald's. I went to Burger King over McDonald's because in Sweetwater, that Burger King's better than the McDonald's. and they were doing like $1.50 for 10 nuggets. I'd go up there and get 20 nuggets for $3. I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't feel good about it, but what are you going to do?
It's protein, like it's
a
edible.
little bit. It is somewhat edible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to break. Let's talk sports on Fan Run Radio.
Good morning. It's steady flow of traffic right now headed out towards Oak Ridge on that Solway Bridge. Watching it increase now down I-75, passing the Caravel exit as you come down through Campbell County right now into Anderson County. A little bit of stop-and-go action already there, especially at Emory Road at I-75 and Powell. Broadway traffic through Fountain City is really busy now, trying to get out of the Halls area into Fountain City. Hey, Amco Transmission, serving East Tennessee since 1962. Call Amco in Knoxville, 832-8686. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross-country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood. But did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Good morning. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. It's going to be another scorcher. The National Weather Service has us under a heat advisory until 7 o'clock here tonight. We're talking about heat indices pushing 103 to 108 degrees, air temperatures at 96, practice heat safety. We'll do it again tomorrow, but as we wrap up the weekend, head into the upcoming weekend, we're talking about increasing chances for showers and thunderstorms. That's your latest forecast. For regular updates, check in with the East Tennessee Weather app or online at easttnweather.com. From the East Tennessee Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Witcher for Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
1, 2.
Weighing in on today's topics, Jared writes in, says he grew up a Sonics fan and he absolutely hates the Thunder.
Now, that's another one.
Yeah, they moved, and you did just have to watch them win a championship.
Sonic's another one. I haven't had that in probably 3 weeks, I'd say.
Seems like you have a pretty good rotation.
Every time I eat at Sonic, I feel awful.
I think their quality's really slipped too. Maybe none of these places ever had really great quality, but I mean, at least McDonald's is using real beef now in the quarter pounders.
Evan says huge 10-foot waves and a storm came through on the lake. So, I mean, I guess that would make it boat sinks during a storm. There's 10-foot waves. I mean, that could easily beat you down. It'd be damn near impossible to survive that.
I could see where the storm might have something to do with it. Then that would make sense. I feel like I would have gotten out of there, but I don't want to victim blame, of course.
You think you would have gotten out of there?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't feel like you're a very strong swimmer just by in my head. Like, I mean,
I don't think I'd let a storm kill me, but they probably thought that too, so.
It's true.
They probably thought the same thing.
We got a Pac-12 resurgent story as they found a TV partner to help make them, somewhat relevant again. As the Pac-12, as you know, is coming back, says that they have agreed to a deal with CBS Sports only through the 2031 season, which I found to be pretty interesting just because usually you see these media rights deal be 10, 15, or 20 years. I think the 20 years one that like the ESPN and ACC signed, I don't think you'll see any like that for the foreseeable future just because of how bad that turned out to be for the ACC. But just basically a 6-year deal at most for the Pac-12. The CBS will broadcast a couple of their games. The conference championships will be there. You'll get to watch it on Paramount Plus, and you'll have, maybe at least a solidified power-ish conference. I don't think they're getting back their major conference status ever. But, maybe at least it kind of becomes that top of tier 2 is the hope. Kind of like what the American is on the East Coast. Maybe it just becomes the American on the West Coast. Because they only got 8 schools: Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Utah State. Just right off the bat, way too many states in a conference to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? You can't have all these states as your school and be taken seriously. Like Fresno State sounds small. Boise State, Colorado State, second tier. San Diego State. San Diego's not even a state. You know what I mean?
Neither is Fresno.
Yeah.
Or Boise.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought you actually meant like states, like the amount of states, and I was gonna say, well, the SEC has at least 12.
No. Yeah, I mean just the title state in their name. They do have Gonzaga, for basketball to at least maybe prop them up basketball-wise. And they're talking about Texas State joining them to be the 8th football school.
Mm-hmm.
What about Sacramento State?
I'm not seeing them on the list.
Or North Dakota State?
That's a state.
I'm not seeing them on the list.
I mean, at least they'll all be somewhat right geographically. I can get behind that.
Yeah, that is true. Like from a just, hey, this conference makes sense on paper.
Yeah,
which is nice because we don't really get that in the other sports.
Yeah, and I don't like that at all. Like it's still so weird to me that UCLA and USC are in the Big Ten. I'm sure we'll get used to it eventually. Oregon, Washington. Those are not Big Ten schools. It doesn't feel right. It feels wrong to me, and I don't like it. Of course, I'll still watch. Even the SEC getting a little big these days.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to trim some of the fat out of the SEC for sure.
There used to just be 10 of us,
12's a good number. I'm fine with 12.
Yeah, 12's fine. I don't know if Oklahoma and Texas are ever going to really feel like part of the SEC, though.
If Texas keeps winning, they're just going to kind of bully their way into being accepted, though. Like they find themselves, at the top of football for most of last year, despite us knowing like the schedule wasn't super tough. We understood that, but then they turn around and did it again in baseball. Kind of felt the same way, where the schedule wasn't really super tough. They got the benefit of the doubt there again, but hey, they finished first in football and first in baseball when it comes just to the regular season.
Yeah, they failed miserably in baseball ultimately.
They did.
But football, they were the cream of the crop. I mean, they couldn't beat Georgia.
And as we sit here right now, if we check out our friends over at VIP Play, use the promo code FANRUN. Use the promo code FANRUN if you sign up. Take advantage of your welcome bonus. Must be 21 and older or located in Tennessee. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. But if you head over there and check it out, Texas, the favorites right now to win the SEC, plus 250. So, like, they might just do enough winning to where they have to get accepted, where you have to just take them seriously because they're going to be constantly playing in your SEC championships.
Yeah. I guess I can accept Texas and Oklahoma.
I forgot to say, Cody, that Texas feels more like an SEC team to me than Missouri does. Missouri still does not feel like a SEC team to me.
Yeah, but you eventually accepted them, though, no? Like, you eventually just said, okay, it's been long enough.
That's always felt weird with Missouri, but...
Yeah, they played 2 conference championships back-to-back years pretty much after immediately getting into the conference.
That's
so,
how down the East was back then.
Really from that point on, you just kind of had to be like, whatever, I guess. I guess you're in the conference.
I mean, after a certain amount of time goes by, I mean, with A&M and Missouri, it's now been what, 13 years?
That's crazy, but yeah.
Like, so, yeah, I mean, they feel at this point like they're SEC teams. I mean,
I really wanted West Virginia to join the SEC. Back whenever Will Greer played for them back in like 2018, 19. I thought it was such a fun atmosphere in Charlotte. And I thought, man, I could really see these guys, in the SEC.
Charlotte, huh?
49ers.
I was in West Virginia yesterday, briefly.
The western part of Virginia?
That too, but also in West Virginia. Very briefly. It's an oddly shaped state.
From an expansion standpoint, it always did feel like the SEC was just going to add more states. There's something with the SEC network and ESPN that basically they get an extra fee for every state that carries them. So, like, it never made sense to, like, go get, like, Florida State for that reason, or really Clemson for that reason, just because from a money standpoint, you're not adding markets, you're not adding states in that footprint. So, like, yeah, West Virginia made a little sense, but more so I always thought, like, it'd be Virginia and, like, or probably Virginia Tech and, like, North Carolina, just because you got to then conquer those 2 states and add them to your footprint.
Yeah, and they feel more SEC than Texas does.
Sure.
Like if you're just talking southeastern part of the country, like
sure.
Blacksburg, Virginia is not that far from here. I mean, the SEC network is located in North Carolina.
Right. And it did seem like a natural thing where they'd be like, hey, instead of adding Clemson and Florida State where we don't really need a footprint, let's go to the 2 states where we don't have anybody in. That's what I thought was going to happen. Instead, we went west and said, hey, actually, let's go get 2. And you understood, from the perspective of, Oklahoma, a new state, but also like Texas and Oklahoma, before they joined the SEC, you would have put them both in the top 10 of brands, right, in terms of college football brands. And Oklahoma's has diminished quite a bit over the last couple of years, and I do think coming to the SEC is only going to further that. Now, we'll see what they do this year. There's a lot of people high on Oklahoma this year thinking they are going to be contenders, at least for a playoff spot. We'll see.
Texas also won the softball.
They did, yeah.
That's another thing they did.
They split the championship in the SEC, but then, they did turn around and win the national championship. So, like, Texas is just kind of beating down the door. Like, you're going to just have to respect them. You're just going to have to do it.
Not in basketball, you don't.
No, not in basketball. Not in basketball.
Although their women's team was good too, right?
Yeah, the women's team was.
I don't remember when they got knocked out of the tournament.
The women's team was a 1 seed that got knocked out. Was it by UConn? Did UConn smash them in the Elite Eight? Maybe were they in UConn's thing?
I don't remember.
Me neither. But I know they got knocked out like in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they're pretty much good at everything except
hell, maybe it was the Final Four. I don't know. They got knocked out.
They're good at everything besides men's basketball.
Did South Carolina beat them? Maybe I don't know.
Somewhere in there.
I saw Tennessee is all the way up at plus 300 to make the playoffs. Plus 300. 3-1 to make the playoffs. Comparatively speaking, last year that was somewhere around like plus 190 to plus 200. So the perception has continued to fall for Tennessee's football program.
Well, that's a good number if you want to buy low.
You do have the opportunity to buy low here. You do have the opportunity to fund your playoff tickets. You take a couple $100 and just invest it now, and then maybe by the time December rolls around, you find yourself the new owner of $1,200 or so. Could be the case. Or maybe you could be eliminated by the middle of October and just say, that was a wasted $300. But then, hey, you don't have to worry about traveling for the postseason.
I mean, how hard is it? All we got to do is win 2 of 4 against Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Oklahoma, and don't lose any other games.
Is that really what the season comes down to again? Because that's what we kept saying last year, and that did seem to kind of seem to bear out, and that was even with an added surprise loss against Arkansas. That one was unacceptable, and everyone kind of wrote the team off. But then you turn around and guess what? Still a playoff team.
Yeah, it's literally all you got to do. Just win 2 out of 4. And Oklahoma's at home. That should be the most winnable. So simply beat one of your rivals. Win 1 of 3 against Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, assuming you beat Oklahoma.
Plus 300 to make the playoffs. The schedule does yield itself to success again. That was a big thing from last year. This year, not much different. This year, the games are on the road. You do need to find a way to win one of those games, maybe against Alabama or Florida on the road. But you don't have to do that if you beat Oklahoma and Georgia. And I understand beating Georgia is still a tall task, but like Cody said, win 2 of those 4. Win 2 of those 4, and those will carry a lot of weight. And then you look around, you just got to be, okay, can we avoid the Syracuse landmine?
Yeah, just don't lose to somebody you shouldn't.
Mississippi State is in the Arkansas position of last year where it's your road trap game, your other West game. But like Mississippi State, pretty god-awful. And I understand Arkansas wasn't great last year, but Mississippi State feels like they're a full standard deviation below what Arkansas was last year.
Yeah, they're the new Vandy. At Kentucky, to me, is trickier than at Mississippi State. And that's not one you should lose either, obviously.
At Kentucky, we do this every other year where we look and say, oh, man, that one's going to be tough. We've only lost that twice in my lifetime. And one of those, the team was maybe actively throwing the game to avoid a bowl game. The other year, you had, a dead coach walking where the program was, cratering underneath Butch Jones's feet. So, like,
ironically, that's what happened to Mississippi State, too.
I understand that you have to look and say, oh, watch out for Kentucky. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm never going to pick Kentucky football to beat Tennessee. If it does happen, you'll tip your cap. You'll be mad. You'll talk about firing your coach because of how unacceptable it is. But again, you look at the schedule and throw Vandy in there and Knoxville. Like that shouldn't be a game that you have to sweat. So really, throw Syracuse in there too. You can't lose to them. You're 11, 12-point favorites in that early, but like really pull it down. Find a way to win 2 games against Georgia at home, Oklahoma at home, and either Alabama or Florida on the road.
I'm simply saying if you're looking for the road game landmine to be scared of, it's Kentucky because it's sandwiched right between Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yeah, no bye week either. So, I mean, like when you look at October, it is going to be kind of a sprint. You start the month off with a bye week. Then you have a revenge game against Arkansas, which you should be able to take care of business there pretty comfortably. Then Alabama's got a revenge game against you on the road. And like Cody says, then you turn around and you play Alabama, which is not the same task as it used to be. It's not the same level of Alabama team, especially from a physicality standpoint. Back, 8, 9, 10 years ago, if you played Alabama, you felt it the next day, right? And you're just, you weren't physically matching up with them, and that would spill over for weeks later. Not quite the same Alabama team. And Tennessee, of course, has closed the gap in the trenches from a physicality standpoint, as you've seen on the field the last 3 years. Like, Tennessee hasn't, even in the game they lost, they had an easy chance to win that game. They were leading at halftime and maybe should have had a 20-point halftime lead. So, yeah, like going to Kentucky after that is going to be a bad spot on your schedule.
Yeah, just if you're looking for one to be scared of.
And then, fourth game in 4 weeks, 2 of them on the road. That Oklahoma game, although you hope that's going to be a night game where the juice is there. That for Josh Heupel, you kind of rally and you have a great crowd and a team fired up to still go and take care of business for him. Plus 300. What odds would you need right now, Cody, to win either Alabama or Florida on the road, from a gambling perspective?
To win on the road, you mean?
Either one of those. Just just if I tell you, hey Cody, I'll give you even money odds, and you get 2 swings at the piñata to crack it. Tennessee can either beat Alabama or Florida. Let's bet $100 on it.
Oh, I'm not going to bet on it.
What if I say I'll give you $150 if you win?
No.
200?
You give me a crack at both?
Yeah, you just got to win one.
What do I owe you?
100.
But you'll give me 200?
Yeah, I'm giving you plus 200.
One?
That's how gambling works. I'm giving you 2-to-1 odds.
All right, I'll take that.
Well, I'm not actually doing it, but I'm saying that you would do it at 2-to-1.
But you put your money where your mouth is, as they say.
Well, I'm just looking from a hypothetical standpoint.
Oh, okay,
I don't want to bet against my team. I'm saying just from you, from an odds-wise.
Yeah, I'll do it 2-to-1 if you give me a crack at both. Yeah.
Bubba, what would you need to be enticed by Tennessee winning one on the road against Alabama or Florida?
I wasn't exactly sure of your exercise right there, but I'd say for Alabama, if we anywhere from plus 115 to plus 250, still taking that.
Just in that one game or on both?
That one game.
Okay.
And then Florida, doesn't even matter. I'm picking us regardless. I don't trust DJ Lag.
Okay, so it sounds like you could pay Bubba out $30, and he would still sign up for it.
Sounds like Bubba would lock in the bet at even money.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it's closer to even money than I do think it's plus 200 if I was setting the line. If I'm putting on my capper hat, I'd make it plus 130.
Now, somehow Bubba has gone from saying we're 6-6 to now being balled up in the matter of what's happened over the last month and a half.
Joey Aguilar is on campus. His mom is representing Tennessee. We're balled up. I know. I mean,
that is all it took. We went from 6-6 to he's taking Tennessee on the road in the swamp. Quote, no matter what. Let's go, Bubba.
Because of Joey Aguilar's hot mom.
Not just because of that, no.
But mainly.
He's on campus and he can learn the playbook.
Well, all right then.
Let's go to break. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio.
Your everything station for your everything school. Fan Run Radio.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the Volunteer State. Smoked daily by Pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Is your smile ready for the spotlight? Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco, and at Knoxville Smiles, we make every visit a reason to smile. From routine cleanings to dazzling cosmetic treatments, our experienced team uses the latest technology to keep your teeth healthy and your smile bright. With a warm, welcoming atmosphere and personalized care, we're here to make sure you leave feeling your best. Don't wait. Your perfect smile is just a call away. Book your appointment today at 865-539-7.
So kind of continuing that exercise from the last segment, Bubba says even money, lock it in. Really, it's a guarantee. Tennessee's beating Florida in the swamp. Go ahead and mark it down, which I do maintain. Look, you look around at Florida, and I think Florida might be the trap game that we're talking about. I talked about that with our friend SEC Mike last week, but like we keep looking for a trap game on the road. I think there's a chance Florida is viewed as the trap game by the time it rolls around if they're 6-4.
Well,
or 5-5, which I think is on the table for them.
It depends on how you define trap game, I suppose, or if you're just penciling that as a. I mean, some people are penciling that as a loss.
If you're penciling that as a loss, like what's the point of being a Tennessee fan if that's the case?
Well, yeah, that's why I don't.
Penciling as a loss. Like I understand if Urban Meyer was on the sideline. I get when Tim Tebow was running around, running through people. You looked at that and said, "Oh, we ain't gonna beat them."
Well, that's why I really don't get excited about the whole idea of 9-3. Maybe I've just been spoiled with double-digit wins 2 of the last 3 seasons, 10-win seasons. I mean, we're 10-win Tennessee. That's what we do. That's what they call us now, 10-win Tennessee.
You know, I never got our trademark approved for that.
Yeah,
but like, look, just keep this in mind about Florida when you talk about them. I know that the content makers, they love DJ Lagway, they love Billy Napier's bounce back potential, they love it. DJ Lagway, 5-star. Never mind the fact he had 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year. And really, if you take away the Samford game, those numbers look pretty pedestrian, pretty bad even. If you take away his 450 yards and 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns he threw against Samford. Whenever everyone talks about Florida, Cody, in the back of your mind, just remember that their actual over-under this year is 7.5. Like
right.
That's what their betting market says is a fair number for their win total. 7.5 games.
They play a difficult schedule.
They do. They do 100%. And I'm not saying that they're your typical 7-win football team, but whenever everyone talks about them as the big bad boogeyman, and you've done it a lot too over this last 4 or 5 months.
Don't get me wrong. I don't feel good about the Florida game.
I'm not saying you have to feel good about it, but I'm just saying whenever everyone talks about big bad DJ Lagway and the Gators, keep in mind their win total is 7.5. 7.5. And if they go even remotely close to that, that means by the time Tennessee comes to town, they'll be 5-5 or 6-4.
I guess I would be okay at 9-3 this year. Like, I wouldn't be just shaking. But for me, I need the 9-3 to be where we beat a rival. That's just how I look at it. I don't like a 9-3 with losses to Florida, Georgia, and Alabama.
And that sends me back down to where if it's 9-3, but you beat a rival, that means you had a really bad loss. That maybe becomes
Well,
even
I'm saying if
grosser.
it's Oklahoma, like if we're 9-3 and the losses are Georgia, Alabama, and Oklahoma, I think I can accept that. It means you won in the swamp.
Man, I think blowing that game at home.
I wouldn't be
against
excited about it.
Oklahoma. I think that to me is worse than losing in the swamp again.
I wouldn't be excited about it. I'm just saying, like, I would rather have that than losing in the swamp again. Losing to Florida, it really hits me.
Sure.
I've discovered over the years that's the one that really irks me.
I don't plan on being down there this year, so I'm hoping I won't be as irked. Not having to deal with those jort-wearing losers.
So are you currently on the 10-win train?
I'm currently on the train of we don't know until we see a quarterback. So,
right.
like, you know, like just full disclosure, when we're talking about Florida at 7.5, I do acknowledge Tennessee's only at 8.5, but that's because we don't know if we have a quarterback or not.
Well, we have a better program than Florida.
Right.
I mean,
but
currently.
Like we're 8.5 with an absolute huge, gigantic power T question mark at quarterback. They're 7.5 with the savior DJ Lagway at quarterback. That to me is the difference. Like if you told the odds makers, if you told the betting market that Joey Aguilar was going to be good, if you told me it was going to be as good as Nico, that maybe goes back to 9.5 where it was, or 9 where it was until he left. If you say that, like, actually, you know, Nico wasn't that good last year, Aguilar could easily improve over that, then the betting market would be 9.5. Florida's at 7.5 with DJ Lagway, the Heisman winner, the best quarterback in the country.
So going back to your original, what you were saying, though, about Florida being a trap game, is like when I look at a trap game, I define it as a game where you lose to a team you shouldn't lose to. You're saying you expect Tennessee to be, I mean, maybe like theoretically we have a good quarterback and we're a pretty good team going into that game.
Yeah, I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible you're an 8-2 Tennessee going into a 5-5 or 6-4 Florida,
and then that would feel more like the South Carolina loss in 22, the Arkansas loss last year.
Then it's a landmine game where you're like, oh man, we just got to beat this team that we're 7-point favorites. We got to go down here and win it.
So that's a different viewpoint than just looking at it as like, no, Florida's just a game you could lose straight up. Not really an inferior team. Like,
I'm just saying by the time the game comes around, the narrative surrounding that game could be completely different, and I think it will be completely different. Now, could it also be like, 9-1 Florida taking on a 7-3 Tennessee? Sure. Could Florida be, touchdown favorite in that game, and it doesn't look like a trap game at all for Tennessee, and it looks like a signature win for Josh Heupel? Sure. That's on the table too. Again, if that's the path you're going, I just want to remind you, their over-under is 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Tennessee's odds not being great to make the playoff at plus 300. Florida's is plus 350.
Yeah, I don't see Florida as a 9-1 team, but I you could sell me on we're both like 7-3 or something like that maybe, but I hope we don't have 3 losses by then. But
no, I concur. I'm just saying that's a possibility. And, of course, if it was 9-1 Florida versus 7-3 Tennessee, obviously it's not a landmine game at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, again, just going through the schedule, Long Island, South Florida, we'll give them both wins there. At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at A&M, what's Florida's record through that 4-game stretch? At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M. 3 of those 4 games on the road. The other one at maybe the number 1 team in the country, Texas.
I think they beat Miami.
Against Texas, excuse me.
I think they beat Miami.
They ain't beat Carson Beck before, have they?
No, but I feel fine.
Why do you think they'll beat Miami?
ACC roster.
Did I see what Miami did to him last year? I know Cam Ward. I know Cam Ward was on the team, but that ACC roster dominated them in every facet.
41-17 or something like that. Yeah.
Dominated them in every facet.
Yeah, they figured some things out after that game.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean they got better.
They got better.
They got
season.
better for sure.
I don't. I think they're going to beat Miami. I know
Okay.
it's a new year. It's a new day.
I'll say give me Miami.
Well, either way, I think I'm giving them 2-2. Like that's
2-2 feels like a stretch.
Well, I was going to say 2-2 is a success there because that LSU is hard to win, and then you split the Texas schools maybe, but I mean they're probably not beating Texas, and that's the one they get at home. So that means you got to win at A&M or at LSU. Like if I give you Miami, I'm not giving you Texas.
I think they go 1-3 during that stretch.
It's very possible.
And I think it's more likely they go 0-4 than it is they go 2-2 or better.
More likely they go 0-4 than 2-2?
Yeah.
I don't think I would say that, but 1-3 is very possible.
Then they play Mississippi State. We'll give them a win there.
Mm-hmm.
So just for the sake, let's just say they got 4 wins. I'll give you Miami. I'll give you Mississippi State, and I'll give you South Florida and Long Island.
Okay, so 4-3.
Neutral site against Georgia.
I mean, that's a loss.
Now they're 4-4. At Kentucky.
Should be a win.
5-4.
But that'll be a battle.
At Ole Miss.
That's a toss-up.
Then they play us.
Yeah.
So 5-4 with a toss-up against Ole Miss and a road win against Miami, a team that outclassed them last year.
So they could be anywhere between 7-3 or 5-5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or 4-6.
Right. And, of course, then it becomes the trap game I'm talking about where, hey, now Tennessee's 8-point favorites. Now you're going on the road. You gotta take care of business here. And I maintain they're not going to get the same shot in the arm that they got last year from switching to DJ Lagway and kind of having the excitement around the 5-star quarterback now that he's already the starter.
It just depends on, do you win those coin flip games?
Sure.
Like, can they win? When you look at Baton Rouge, at A&M, at Ole Miss, do they win 2 of 3 or do they win 0? Like that's kind of the difference there. That's a rough schedule. I mean, it's pretty brutal.
Bub, I'm with you. Lock it in. The Vols are beating the Gators. Lock it in.
June 24th.
Lock it in, Bubba.
10-win Tennessee.
The lock is on.
There you go. Make a noise.
If you're locking that in, then it means we're 10-win Tennessee again.
All right, well, I do like the prospect at plus 300 of making the playoff. I do think that there's a lot of value there. A lot of value there at plus 300. Hour 2 in the books. We'll kick off hour 3 with another batch of headlines. We got some Tuesday trivia. Stick with us. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves morning update. Presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Ronald Acuna homer, Spencer Schwellenbach shines. The Braves top the Mets. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network morning update.
Get clean car happy all season long at Tidal Wave with exclusive membership discounts, giveaways, and more. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com/Braves for more information.
For the 4th time this season, the Braves have topped the Mets. 3-2 winners are the Braves on Monday night. Ronald Acuna with a solo blast. Spencer Schwellenbach with 7 strong innings. And Dylan Lee a 4-out save, which included a strikeout of Juan Soto with 2 on and 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well-rounded win for the Braves. They'll go for Game 2 tonight right here on the Braves Radio Network. Spencer Strider going for the Braves. He's 2-5, has a 3.89 ERA, 45 strikeouts, 13 walks, and a 1.14 whip. Frankie Montas going for the Mets. This will be his first start of the season. He suffered a lat strain, still coming back from that. He was 0-3, has a 12.05 ERA, and a 2.14 whip during his rehab assignments in Syracuse and in Brooklyn. For leadoff show coming your way at 5:55. First pitch against the Mets, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, right here on the Braves Radio Network.
Citizens National Bank. You want a bank that lets you bank when and where you want to. Your local branch, the grocery store, your computer, your phone, it's up to you. You want people who care about taking care of you and your money too. Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Talk Sports. Talk Sports. Talk Sports.
Talk Sports. Talk Sports from 7 to 10. Ay. Overrated, underrated on Wednesday. Fan Run Radio. Talk Sports said, not in my house. I ain't talking to Kim, babe. John and Cody out here asking where the ops at. Tennessee volunteers here for combat. It's the Cherokee Ghost, John Reed and Cody doing everything we can to bring Rocky Top back. Talk Sports from 7 to 10. Never leave a witness, never leave loose ends. Nico ain't nothing but a nuisance. 2026, we ain't making new friends.
Talk Sports. Talk Sports.
Hour number 3 kicking off here in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. This batch of headlines brought to you by SM Athletics. If you have any uniform, equipment, screen prints, or embroidery needs, give SM Athletics a call. You'll get excellent customer service and great products at a fair price. 865-966-3434 or visit online at smathletics.com. Locally owned and operated. Supports locally owned and operated businesses. smathletics.com. Hour 3 headlines. Cody McClure. My version of the Big Dumper. That's what I call you. Then I realized that nickname's been taken this whole time. Did you know that? There was a baseball player named Big Dumper?
No, I never heard of him.
He hit a home run again last night. The 4th straight game he's hit a home run. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's Big Dumper, Caleb Raleigh. And then I'm like, wait a second. That's Todd Raleigh's son. Todd Raleigh, the guy that ruined our baseball program for a long time. And I'm like, it's crazy how this is all connected. And everyone's like, man, Todd Raleigh really is a jerk. And I'm like, well, that sucks that he's got a son that's so good right now. And basically Aaron Judge at the plate while being a catcher behind the plate. He's maybe having the best catching offensive season of all time. Kind of crazy. Anyways, your headlines. Let's go, Big Dumper.
All right.
I'll call you Big Dump.
Yeah, thanks, John. That's right. This is headlines during your cigarette break.
Big Dump.
Enjoy that cigarette while you listen to the news. Suck it down, baby.
Then they kicked me out of the smoking circle. They said I couldn't do that anymore because I kept.
I'd kick you out too if you were making noises like that. You were what? You were doing what to the cig?
They said you can't deep throat the cig. Get out of here.
Goodness. Must have been a long cigarette. Well, this is good news for you, Bubba. Daniel Jones apparently has a significant lead over Anthony Richardson right now when it comes to the Colts QB1 discussion. Daniel Jones is the man. He's QB1 for now. The Colts signed the ex-Giants/Vikings quarterback in free agency to challenge Anthony Richardson for the QB1 title in Indy, and he's already taken a significant lead according to James Boyd of The Athletic, in what was supposed to be a wide-open quarterback competition. Daniel Jones appears to be your guy.
How do you feel?
I knew it all along.
You're excited?
Why not? Chance at redemption.
I had a dream last night that the Colts finished as the worst team in the league.
Really, I'm going to have a dream tonight that's going to have the Colts winning the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
And you're going to wake up wet.
That Daniel Jones is doing things to you, huh?
Danny Dimes, 5
Danny
of
Dimes.
I am very annoyed by Bleacher Report's headlines. I never use them as a source, and I see why I don't.
Why's that?
But
What happened?
You know, we're a little sports headlines right now, sports news, little scattered.
All over the place.
We got a lot of other good news, but
yeah, all over the place.
I don't like that. Maybe this is me being an old curmudgeon. Maybe I should go back to the 60s where I came from here. But I don't like them using the first names on the – like their headlines are Chet, comma, Jalen to get massive extensions with a money bag emoji.
I feel like Chet is okay because that's such a unique name.
Yeah, but they're doing it with everything. They're doing like –
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm all right with Chet. Jalen, not really cool.
It's like they
J-Dub
know him personally.
Maybe would have worked. But
it's like they know him personally.
yeah, again, I'm okay with it with Chet, but Jalen does seem weird. But also, it would be weird to use Chet and then go with Williams. But I think that's what I would have done. I think I would have done Chet,
Hallie
Williams.
How do you feel about Hallie? Hallie posts after surgery.
Nah, I don't like that.
It's too casual.
I kind of like what they're going for, though. Like, hey, hello, fellow kids. We talk ball the way you do.
Yeah, that's how it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. I don't think I like it.
No one really calls Jalen Williams Jalen, though. That's where they lose me.
Yeah.
Hallie, I'm all right with that. Like, if instead of typing out Gilgis Alexander, if they went SGA, would you have had a problem with it?
No, but that's kind of an accepted acronym. But I think it would be weird if they just said Shea, you know?
Yeah.
Shea celebrates after
Yeah, no one
Thunder,
really calls him Shea, but yeah, we do say SGA.
Like, I feel like they're going for like a, hey, we're cool thing.
Okay.
I don't like it, but it's Bleacher Report. You know, they've been doing the emojis for years, so they were kind of first to the party on the fellow kids thing.
Instead of Joey Aguilar, let's just call him Joey.
Joey. Well, we can call him Joey because we know him.
We don't know him.
He's our quarterback.
We don't know him.
No, we don't know him, but he's our quarterback. You know, we're fans of the team.
I hope David has a really good year at right tackle.
Yeah,
let's see what Mike does out wide.
That sounds weirder. Sounds weirder. Sounding weirder and weirder when you're talking about an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I hope Wendell is good at guard. Wendell?
Don't like it.
Wendell?
Don't like it.
I'm going to go with Wendell. I like Wendell.
There was a guy in my life growing up named Wendell.
Yeah, that's a good name. That's a good name. Wendell's a badass name. A guy named Wendell, that's a guy that'll stab you with a fork.
He did seem like the type of guy that would stab you with a fork.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, a real raspy voice like this.
I like that. He's probably on his cigarette break right now.
Yeah. No, if I was guessing, he's not still alive.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it sad.
If I'm guessing. I ain't seen him in probably 7 years at this point.
Well, speaking of whether you know someone or don't know him.
Hey, John, how you doing? I used to always see him at the stock barn. You want a cheeseburger? You want a cheeseburger and some Dr. Pepper?
I had a guy in my life like that named Paul Medlock, but he really sounded like that because he had one of those voice boxes.
Oh, no, yeah, it wasn't like that.
He was a smoker.
No,
he was such a heavy smoker, they had to cut his throat out.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
And I was terrified of him as a kid because think of this. I'm just a little boy, right? And I'm sitting there and, young. Young is what I mean. Never little. I see why you laughed.
No, I just laughed at just the idea of a little boy.
I'd be
hanging out with who?
He was my granddad's friend. His name was Paul.
Your granddad shouldn't have let you around this guy as a little boy.
He's terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified because he was already in his 90s, too. He was a very, very old man. This guy was born like in the 1800s, and he was already in his 90s. And so, people in their 90s look pretty zombie-like.
They're just waiting to die, man.
Yeah, like
part. Not everybody.
No offense.
If you're 90 and listening,
right.
we're not talking about you.
And also, the drive starts at 3 p.m. But look, I don't want to say just because you're in your 90s you're ugly, but you're probably not you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. And they kind of look close to zombies when they're in their 90s. And he talked like that because he had that voice box. Think of 4-year-old me just standing there with my chocolate milk and my little pudgy belly asking Granddad when I could get a sausage biscuit.
Oh, man, a sausage biscuit and chocolate milk.
Well, it's still good.
Yeah.
Still hits.
Yeah.
I never stopped.
I don't really do that anymore.
I don't eat spinach and feta omelets.
No, it's just the chocolate milk part. I don't really drink chocolate milk ever. I kind of miss it. I used to love it.
Well,
I was always nice going to visit. When my nephew was young enough, my parents would keep chocolate milk.
School?
No, I wouldn't go to school. I never did that. That would be weird for an uncle just to come to school, wouldn't it? Especially when my age, hey, my uncle's here, and it's just me. I'm 30.
Is it weird? We used to have
No, I know. I know.
Grandparents' Day.
Grandparents and parents just come, but again, uncle.
Uncle's Day?
Yeah,
Uncle's Day?
a 30-year-old uncle showing up at a 7-year-old. I don't know. That feels a little weird.
I just wish one more time in my life I could have school cafeteria food, though. Just for some reason, one time, I would like to have it one more time. Go into the school cafeteria.
Have a kid.
Get a tray.
Just have a kid.
I don't know if you're aware, and not to get political at all, but Michelle.
Oh, no.
Here it comes.
Here comes MAGA Jackson coming up. Let's see. What Mike Obama do?
She ruined school lunches. Okay? So I don't know that you want a school lunch again.
Oh,
is that true?
So when your boy RFK does it, it's okay. But when Michelle,
I haven't been in the school system.
Michelle did it, it was bad.
I haven't been in the public school system
But RFK
4
wants
years.
to clean things up, and all of a sudden it's okay. Michelle wants the kids to eat healthy, and she's quote unquote ruining school lunches.
She did.
There's so many chemical additives. They're so unhealthy.
I don't even
you have
know
to
how
get
to
rid of
explain
it.
what Michelle did to
the red
lunches,
dye is giving people AIDS.
I know how to explain. We used to have corn dogs, actual corn dogs. Now we got
dogs
these
are
whole wheat
disgusting.
corn dog nuggets. We used to have these burritos that came individually
Why do you
packaged
say
in a bag.
we? You're not in school anymore.
You're not in
We used
charge
to.
now.
You speak for the kids.
RFK sounded a lot like Paul Medlock.
A little bit like Wendell too, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think I've been getting his name wrong. I think it's Lindell. I can't remember if it was
I bet
Wendell or
he's
Lindell.
pissed.
I can't
And then
remember.
the old Bosco cheese sticks, dude. Oh my goodness.
I just want those chicken crispito things and the chicken nuggets and the square pizza. I want all of it just one more time.
You can order the pizza. You can get the pizza.
I just want it one more time. And I got a friend. I got a connection. My friend works for the Granger County Cafeteria Department.
Well, just tell him to get you a couple pizzas.
I've told him, I was like, if there's ever an opportunity, I want some lunches. If you can bring some with you or something.
You're like Chris Farley and Billy Madison just sitting behind the school bus.
I don't have to. I don't have to go sit at the table. I don't need to be.
Nope. You gotta go sit at the table.
But I just want the food. Anyway, close personal friend of mine, Shane Gillis, has been tabbed as the 2025 host of the ESPYs. He will. The ESPY Awards are going back to comedy, they said, marking a return to comedic hosting for the event after several years of not having comedic hosting.
Shane Gillis has got a pretty high approval rating. Although I feel like hosting the ESPYs is kind of a thankless job because either you come out like a jerk and make fun of the athletes like Norm Macdonald and everyone gets mad at you, or you don't do comedy and people are like, oh, this guy sucks. This guy wasn't funny at all.
Oh, you got to make fun of him. I don't think Shane's going to pull any punches. That thing he said to Nick Saban is still one of my favorite, calling him Alabama Jones when he was wearing that goofy-ass hat during the playoffs. I mean, that was gold.
But I think that was just spur of the moment.
Yeah, it was great, though.
I don't think he could, hold it in.
Got Alabama Jones over here. Yeah, that was good. July 16th is when the ceremony is set to take place at the Dolby Theater in L.A., fans can watch on ABC or wherever.
ABC, oh, wow.
I think, honestly, it'll get me to the ESPYs. I never watch the ESPYs, but I think having a comedian host it will. I'll tune in.
Yeah, I agree. Shane Gillis is probably, would you say, the hottest comedian right now?
Hottest? No.
You can't think of any hot people to make your joke you were trying to make?
I was trying to think of who.
Yeah, you couldn't think of one. I was
Whitney Cummings.
Sarah Silverman's the one that came to my mind.
She is still hot. I watched her special the other day.
About her dad?
She is still hot. Yeah.
I like
How
that.
he was dying and both of her parents died. And,
I liked that one.
Yeah, it was really good. She was.
She's still hot.
Yeah, she is.
But no, is Shane Gillis like the
Nikki Glazer,
the it comedian right now?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Who's more famous, him or Darius Rucker? Because I was thinking about yesterday, like Hootie's got a much longer track record. Of course, Shane's only been famous for, a short amount of time, but he seems like he's at the top level of fame.
Shane Gillis right now is a borderline A-lister, whereas Darius Rucker
was never.
I wouldn't say never, because I don't really know how big Hootie and the Blowfish was in the 90s. Like, I mean, I knew him, but I don't know like exactly enough history to like really put them where they were at. But like, I'm just saying, like right now,
yeah,
Darius Rucker could walk in places and you might recognize him, but you wouldn't really get excited. Like if Darius Rucker came into SM Athletics, I'd walk to the bathroom and just say, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you," and go to the bathroom.
You wouldn't.
If Shane was out there, I'd
be like, "What's up, Darius?"
Nah, I'd be like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you."
Yeah.
If Shane was out there, I'd stop and want to talk a little bit. I'm like, "Oh, so season 2 of Tires, man, that was really good." First season kind of
already out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
First season, not that good. Second season, though, great. You guys took a real leap with that one. Now I see our future for the show.
Who's
I
the
like
most
it.
famous person everyone here has met? Who's yours? Would yours be Dickie V?
Yeah, I feel like it.
I mean, you met Dave Portnoy.
Who's more famous, Dick Vitale or Dave Portnoy?
I don't know.
Or Big Cat, one of those guys.
Well, I mean, you definitely take Dave over Big Cat, right?
I'd say
that
so.
would just kind of
in terms
cancel
of
him out in
popularity.
terms of their Barstool. Dickie V or Dave
I'd say-
Portnoy? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Dick Vitale, of course, for the test of time, but like,
Yeah, he's a legend.
yeah, more people know him probably.
Would that be your top two, or do you have any others in there?
Such a weird question. I always think about this, and I know I've met people, but like I can't ever really like remember meeting people.
I guess when I say meeting, I mean actually like
Having a conversation
speaking
with?
to.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, I can only think of Darius Rucker.
I mean,
and
those are two
Shane
pretty
Gillis.
big ones.
But like we've all been.
You like your
close
two? Your two's
to-
probably cooler than my two, right?
I don't know.
Darius Rucker to me is a distant fourth here.
Okay.
Distant fourth here.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing special about meeting him.
Shane Gillis is cool. Like that's a cool one.
And he probably doesn't remember it, Darius, because he was probably drinking. Because
Who would you rather have, Bubba? Darius Rucker and Shane Gillis, or Dave Portnoy and Dick Vitale? A disheveled Dick Vitale.
I mean, I met Dale Earnhardt Jr. too.
Oh no, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is more famous than Darius Rucker.
But that was just
Darius
an
Rucker
autograph
and Shane.
session.
Oh, okay.
So like
that doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm not counting that.
Yeah.
I'm counting like it's got to be kind of like spontaneous in a way.
So no meet and greets.
You met Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
I didn't talk to him. I just
Oh.
saw him in the gas station.
Okay. I mean, I met Mankind, and
that's cool.
That was also kind of a meet and greet, though. Like it was Mankind and Kane, but I mean, Glenn Jacobs doing a political thing.
I took
my nephew to that, and like took a picture and all that. So I mean, like I don't know.
I talked to Glenn Jacobs on the radio.
Yeah, I talked to Rick Barnes on the radio.
Yeah,
Tony Vitello, but he's not. Tony Vitello's not really that famous in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, like if we're talking like nationally. Do you guys have anybody? Jackson's like, yeah, I was at a Diddy party.
I met Kid Rock at a Trump rally. Big Kid Rock fan.
I've Gene Wojciechowski.
Okay, that's not no.
ESPN.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he was on Game Day for a while. I'll take his class. I've met a couple Titans players. I've met Trey Smith too. That's Trey Smith probably would be my.
Yeah, I mean, I met Trey.
Top, just because he's an NFL player. I mean, I haven't met a whole lot of famous people.
I met Alvin Kamara and like Jalen Reeves maybe, but I don't really count.
Yeah,
those guys really.
Balls. I mean, they're NFL guys now. So
yeah, Kamara was in the NFL. Like whenever I was talking to him, but like I don't really count that.
I was very close to Trump, but I didn't talk to him at his first rally. in like 2015 in
Yeah.
Knoxville. I went to that.
Yeah.
As a journalist.
Journalists aren't supposed to put the hats on.
I know. I just said, that's cool. I'll get a hat while I'm here.
Tuesday trivia coming up next. It's Talk Sports on Fan Run Radio.
Streaming worldwide at fanrunradio.com and on the free Fan Run app. This is Big Orange Country's sports talk radio superstation, Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game. Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood. But did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a Pack Rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Are you looking for a treat that will knock it out of the park at the next watch party? Just like your favorite baseball team, Crumble brings the best lineup week to week with an expanded roster that includes key lime pie, strawberry cake, or my personal favorite, Monster featuring M&M candies. Let Crumble treat you to the best cookies in the game. Download the Crumble app and start earning rewards. You can even vote monthly on what flavors you would like to see at any store of your choice. Warmer weather is here, so get to the ballpark, but don't miss the cookies.
Good morning. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. It's going to be another scorcher. The National Weather Service has us under a heat advisory until 7 o'clock here tonight. We're talking about heat indices pushing 103 to 108 degrees, air temperatures at 96, practice, heat safety. We'll do it again tomorrow, but as we wrap up the weekend, head into the upcoming weekend, we're talking about increasing chances for showers and thunderstorms. That's your latest forecast. For regular updates, check in with the East Tennessee Weather app or online at easttnweather.com. From the East Tennessee Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mike Witcher for Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Perfect Smile is just a call away. Book your appointment today at 865-539-1776 or online at KnoxvilleSmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Last call here on the program as we wrap up this Tuesday edition of Talk Sports. It's the off season. It's the off season.
It sure is. Mr. Rockefeller. You know, I went to the top of the Rockefeller Center on Friday.
How was that?
Hell of a view.
Did you do all the touristy stuff?
Not really.
Did it rock a feller?
It did. It did kind of rock a fellow seeing that for the first time. I mean, that's a touristy thing to do.
That did set up Jay-Z for an unfortunate couple of bars from Nas during their whole beef, though.
What was it? Can't repeat on the radio.
Nas said, "I rock." Another word for women. You rock fellas.
Ah,
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, kind of set yourself up for that one.
Called him, it insinuated he's a homosexual.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which in the rap community is
that's
big
fine.
no.
Yeah, but in the rap community, those insults are fine. We don't have the same PC rules. Like, we still had a little bit of that going on in the Drake and Kendrick beef. And we're just kind of like, you know what, we'll just let it go. You could say certain things in rap beef you can't say in a PC version otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I saw where people were. Drake was effectively shamed. I did see this. You know, he's done a lot of things over the years that, you know, some have deemed corny, but he's kind of kept the head down and kept going. He did, I think, effectively get shamed because the rap community was not necessarily happy at him, you know, walking out in cowboy gear with our own Morgan Wallen.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And they're like, hey, bro, did you not see the footage of what he said? And everyone made fun of Drake for it.
Yep.
Did the whole, really not like us type of thing. And then he effectively was bullied and deleted the post off.
Yeah, his perception has really taken a hit since that whole beef, you know. But
yeah, and then I saw a snippet of Pusha T. He's doing a new album with his brother. The Clips is coming back out with a new album, Clips, and they did a song with Kendrick, and those are the two biggest Drake haters, is Pusha T and Kendrick.
The guys at the Baltimore Crab Shop were talking about Pusha T's coming out. They said it's not going to be good. They didn't like it.
Travis Scott.
They didn't think it was going to be good?
No, they said when Pusha T had a hit. He ain't had a hit lately.
Oh, interesting.
Anytime recent.
Because, I mean, he's from Virginia. You know, it's close enough to Maryland. It's kind of
They're basically saying, like, he's washed. I was just listening to him talking about it as I was waiting on my deep-fried hard crab.
Interesting.
It does kind of seem like he dissed Travis Scott to get some attention around his name a little bit.
No. He ain't got to do that with this. The old heads are around. The old heads are around for the new Clips album, all right?
Well, if he gets on a track with Kendrick and just disses Drake the whole time, then...
Well, they might bring it back up. Who knows?
But then you know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get plays. Because he knows that.
Well, that's usually the goal of every artist, is to get plays, Jackson. Everyone wants.
I know, but Pusha has had his thing with Drake almost 10 years ago.
Okay, some beef doesn't die. Now, some does. You know, Jay-Z and Nas seem okay, you know, despite the Rockefeller line.
But, like, I think Pusha started that beef by talking on Drake's son. And so I don't understand him still trying to...
You would be a Drake fan, Jackson.
No, I'm not a Drake fan.
You look like a stereotype.
I'm not.
He had some great party songs.
I'm not a Drake fan.
You seem...
I'm a J. Cole guy.
Well, then you don't even get to have a seat at the conversation because your guy waved the white flag, said, never mind.
That's all right.
I don't want no parts of this.
Lyrically, he wipes all of them, so...
I don't think anybody thinks anybody lyrically watches Kendrick. I don't think anybody says that.
What if we had a new segment called the Jackson 5?
And he's got 5 takes?
Yeah, it's just like 5
takes a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that, you know, I don't know.
I could do that.
It's just a thought I had.
You never should have left Afghanistan.
Oh, hey, we got to be careful about that area of the world right now.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting thing when I was drunk at the wedding Saturday night and people were telling me that we had just struck Iran. I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I'm here in this city where nothing bad could possibly happen in terms of a counterattack. That's good. Good place to be.
What all we missed today, Bubba?
Well, we missed Fernando Tatis Jr. suing the big league advance fund, as whenever he signed with that as a minor, I guess to get an extra fund out in advance. Even though he doesn't really need that since his dad was also a famous MLB player. So we'll see how that works out for him. We've got 7 more Vols baseball players entering the transfer portal.
7 more?
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, the names in the transfer portal. Do you have the list of the 7 guys? Because no offense to them if they're listening, no real names that'll make you wince for losing. No Tegan Coons. That was the big name people are waiting on.
But right now, though, we have 19 total departures, from.
We have 19 total what departures?
Yep.
Well, we have to do a numbers crunch. The new rules, the new rules come in and say you can only have 34 players on your roster. So you got to find a new home for these guys. Especially when you're bringing in, you don't really know how many high schoolers you're going to be able to bring in until the draft is over. But you're also out here actively trying to get huge upgrades in the portal. So 19 seems like a number that's a little too low, honestly. I'd imagine you'll have a couple more names enter the portal.
Yeah, we had Andrew Dumont, Stratton Scott, Dame Bjorn, Bo Revord, Ryler Smart, Jack Jones, and Robinson Martin.
Yeah, so
any of them.
Yeah, I mean,
they all did not play.
Yeah, I mean the one kid got struck in the face by the foul ball. I knew his name at the time when it happened, but outside of that, none of those guys real major players here. So
we call those guys pine riders.
One of my buddies from middle school and high school is entered the transfer portal from
yeah?
Tennessee. Luke Payne.
Okay.
Wish you well, man. He didn't really ever pitch here, but I do hope you find. Well, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He kind of
get him on the program.
He kind of distanced himself from me once he got into college baseball.
Well, hopefully he's listening to the program.
Yeah,
hopefully he hears your well wishes.
I hope you find somewhere you can throw some ball at.
Let's go.
Why did he distance himself from you?
I don't really know. He reclassified.
Are you problematic, Jackson?
Sounded personal.
He reclassified.
Yeah,
He reclassified and went into the grade below me.
Oh, so he went younger.
Yeah, he went young. I think for
That's
baseball.
the best thing about college.
And then I moved schools, so
Usually, when I think of people reclassifying, they become, the class ahead of them to get into school earlier, not turning around and doing the opposite.
I'm not gonna. Is this guy what? Mute your mic. Absolutely.
Okay.
We had Thomas Castellanos from Florida State basically disrespecting Alabama, talking about their vulnerabilities. He's saying, Nick Saban's not on that sideline. They're not going to stop me.
Well, he did just say, hey, there's no Nick Saban out there, which, look, we talked about the disrespect Tennessee's been getting, from the national narrative. Alabama can feel that way, too. Alabama, everyone kind of looks at them as if they're sweet now, or at least gettable. To me, it's Georgia and it's Texas when I look at the SEC. It's no longer Georgia and Alabama. It's Georgia and Texas. And Alabama, you're kind of the top of Tier 2 of Tennessee, buddy. Alabama, LSU, Tennessee, we can all hang out. We're kind of right there at the top of Tier 2. And you know why? Because Nick Saban ain't there to save you anymore, buddy.
Also, two quick...
Now, dangerous game for this guy to play before they play. It has a chance of really backfiring for him. Go ahead, Bubba.
South Carolina introduced a $300 athletics auxiliary fee for students on their fees. And then also the NBA Finals had 16.4 million viewers, the most watched in 6 years.
Oh, so South Carolina's going to pass the 10% talent fee to the students?
From what I could gather, they are doing a $300 fee that would also happen on, whenever they get all their...
Yeah, I'd imagine that's going to pass the buck a little bit to the 10% or the revenue sharing, I should say. That's interesting because look, I mean, a lot of those people are paying through scholarship money, through grant money, student loans. That's an interesting way to just kind of, hey, what's an extra $300? You're already paying $30,000. What's $30,300?
Chase Brown's going to get absolutely embarrassed by the Yankees tonight.
Well, Reds beat the Yankees last night. We'll see if they can make